And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Rachel Zegler is facing serious backlash after her latest movie, Snow White, turned out to be a major flop. Fans are furious, the production team is under intense pressure, and right now, no one's getting more criticism than Rachel herself. A lot of people think she completely deserves the heat she's getting, calling her ungrateful and rude. And honestly, those aren't even my own words, that's the general public talking.
Like how hard it is to find an attractive young woman in Hollywood who can act and sin. It's not hard. Like who just isn't going to offend half the country. There'll be 25,000 more just like her knocking on the same doors that she had opened to her. She had the opportunity of a lifetime, and instead of being humble and grateful, she was entitled and a snot.
What's really shocking, though, is how Rachel is now blaming the internet, saying it's full of haters. But that's not where it ends. She's also reportedly pointing fingers at her co-star Gal Gadot, accusing her of being the real reason everything fell apart. Things have gotten so bad that Disney is even considering pulling all Snow White 2025 merchandise from stores. But let's be honest, this movie seemed doomed from the very beginning. Even with nearly 10 years of planning, this remake couldn't be saved, especially when it comes to trying to rework a timeless classic like Snow White. And we need to talk about all of it.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
It's been just about 3 weeks since the latest Snow White film hit theaters, and reactions from both longtime Disney fans and critics have been wild. The trailer alone had people nervous, but seeing the full movie was an even bigger disappointment. Between multiple reshoots that made the film feel messy and disconnected, a low-budget look despite a sky-high budget, and Rachel Zegler's performance, which rubbed almost everyone the wrong way, people couldn't decide what was worse. For starters, Rachel and Gal Gadot clearly didn't get along. Fans picked up on it fast. Politically, the two stars were on completely opposite sides. Gal has openly supported Israel and spoken out for the Jewish community. Meanwhile, Rachel has voiced her support for Palestine. But things got especially bad when Rachel's political views caused massive drama during the Snow White 2025 press tour. Rachel posted on X saying, "I love you all so much. Thank you for the love and for 120 million views on our trailer in just 24 hours. What a whirlwind." That post seemed nice enough until she followed it up with, "And always remember, free Palestine." That second message ended up reaching nearly 15 million people, 4 times the reach of her original post. That's when fans and critics came for her hard, saying she was the worst kind of teammate. People were asking, what kind of co-star would make a public political statement like that, knowing it could put their castmate in danger? And it didn't take long for rumors to start flying that Rachel had something personal against Gal Gadot, who, by the way, is more famous and, according to many fans, more liked. The timing of Rachel's post felt too specific to be a coincidence. To a lot of people, it looked like she was trying to create drama on purpose. And it definitely worked. Multiple sources confirmed that after Rachel's tweet, Gal started receiving a flood of death threats. Got so serious that Disney had to assign her a personal security team. Gal is also a mother of 4, so yeah, this was no small issue. But here's the part that really shocked people. Even after being told no ordered by producers to take the tweet down, Rachel refused. She said she had every right to express her political views. And while yes, she does have that right, maybe it would have been better to hold off on those comments when promoting a big movie that was already on thin ice. That was strike 1 between Rachel and Gal. Strike 2 came right after the Oscars, when Rachel commented under a post that showed her and Gal as presenters. She called Gal a professional pageant queen, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Fans saw that as another subtle dig. And the idea that these two women were feuding only grew stronger after Rachel made several social media posts appreciating her other castmates, and even Bob Iger, but left Gal out entirely. Now that Rachel's been getting a ton of criticism, she's trying to turn the blame around and say Gal is the reason fans turned on her. But honestly, that's only part of the story. Long before the drama with Gal, Rachel was already upsetting fans by constantly criticizing the original 1937 Snow White. She even called it really scary.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious.
After that, a lot of people couldn't look at her the same way, especially with the Snow White remake on the way. It's like Rachel was doing everything except actually promoting the movie. And when the negative comments started pouring in, Rachel tried to defend the film, saying people just weren't ready to accept new, progressive ideas. She even made a controversial post on Instagram claiming the movie was #1 globally with the caption, "Behind every strong woman is herself." But many fans felt that Disney's push for progressive messaging through Rachel wasn't working. And this wasn't the first time she stirred the pot. In a 2022 interview, Rachel said the new Snow White wasn't about love or dreams anymore. Instead, the story would focus on Snow White becoming a leader.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
she's gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Rachel didn't stop there. She went on to say that Disney had done a bunch of reshoots and could still do more, especially if they decided Snow White's love interest, Andrew, wasn't even necessary.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
That comment rubbed a lot of viewers the wrong way, especially men. It made Andrew's character, and other male characters, seem completely unimportant. It became clear that casting Rachel was a risky move for Disney. Even conservative voices like Megyn Kelly and Benny Johnson agreed. If Rachel had just stayed quiet during interviews, the movie might have had a better shot.
And
Yeah,
it's been
she's
so
knocked off as
poisonous. And if she hadn't have opened her mouth, I think that this movie might have done well. They might have just been able to ride on the hopium of the movie and some well-cut trailers, and people would have paid to go see it.
And let's talk about the money. Disney spent over $250 million on this film. That's $250 million. They expected a massive return. But when I say people weren't buying tickets, I mean it. Theater after theater across the country was completely empty. People were even joking, calling the movie Snow Woke and the 7 viewers. It was that bad. With all the terrible reviews coming in, some fans said Disney should have just donated that money to charity, or anything else besides this movie. Truth is, people saw it coming. After Rachel insulted Trump supporters in a now-deleted tweet, she made it clear she didn't want them backing her. She even said she wished no peace to Trump or his supporters. And now she's the one facing chaos, watching herself alone in a theater, laughing out loud like nothing's wrong. I mean, really? Come on. At this point, people are saying Walt Disney would be rolling in his grave if he saw what's happening to the company he built. To be fair, Rachel isn't the only reason the movie got such awful reviews. But because she's the lead actress and a constant source of controversy, she's become an easy target. And the issues didn't just start with her. Problems really began a year ago when the Daily Mail released the first look at the remake, showing Rachel as Snow White standing next to 7 people of different races, sizes, and heights. These characters replaced the original 7 dwarfs, and fans weren't happy. Even Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones criticized the move, saying there was nothing progressive about it, and calling it backward. In response, Disney tried to fix the issue by including 7 magical characters who resembled dwarfs. But instead of casting actual dwarf actors, they used CGI and hired regular-sized voice actors. Disney claimed it was about avoiding stereotypes, but the results still offended a lot of people.
Some of you want us to hire actual dwarf humans, and then we thought we would have CGI magical creatures. How about this? We'll still offend the dwarves, but we'll CGI.
Because seriously, how do you completely remove a group of people from roles that were made for them just to avoid hurting someone's feelings? That's not progress. That's taking roles away from one community and handing them off to another. The story itself is the issue. Why not just change the storyline instead of erasing the original characters? Online backlash exploded. And right now, Snow White is getting review bombed on IMDb, with more than 91% of users giving it the lowest possible score, 1 out of 10. Honestly, people are only giving it a 1 because you can't give a 0.
A 1.6 rating out of 10 on IMDb, and a 1.2 rating, extreme overwhelming dislike from thousands of user scores on Metacritic. These might be humbling feedback loops that would cause you to not humble brag about how beautiful you are. That is exactly what Rachel Zegler has done. After the box office flop, Snow White lost hundreds of millions of dollars for Disney, she decides to rage post behind every strong woman is herself.
Fans are angry that Disney managed to change so much and yet somehow still changed nothing meaningful. It's like they tried to modernize the story, but ended up going nowhere. And as for Rachel, you'd think that with all the bad press, she'd take a step back and lay low for a while. But nope. She told fans straight up, "If you don't like me, unfollow me. I don't need your business."
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Wow, what a scene.
I don't need it.
That kind of attitude is exactly why people think she's feeding the image of being entitled and out of touch. Some even joked that Blake Lively must be teaching her how to be a mean girl, because Rachel is running with it. What's even wilder is that Rachel doesn't seem to realize how much of the backlash is tied to her behavior. She's been acting like it's all about her skin color, completely ignoring how her own actions and attitude have made things worse.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge thing that was like trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry. And so it was like
Those people.
very much this, yes. It was this
people that we
awakening
need
of,
to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
love them in the right direction. Exactly.
It's like she forgot she had a job to do and a responsibility to Disney. People already had mixed feelings about casting a brown-skinned actress in a role that was based on a fair-skinned character, as the original story and name suggest. But things might have gone more smoothly if Rachel had just been more careful with her words and avoided stirring up controversy. Instead, she went full Zegler, and honestly, no one should ever go full Zegler. The acting in the film didn't help either. Many viewers felt it was weak. And the movie dropped most of the original themes that made Snow White special. Disney kept saying they were trying to teach kids important lessons and promote modern values. But if the goal was to educate people, maybe they should have made a new story instead of ruining a classic that generations have loved. And for a movie that was first approved back in 2016, fans were expecting way more effort, more creativity, and more respect for the original film. Instead, what they got was a mess full of plot holes and confusion. And that final scene where everyone's dressed in white, singing and dancing? Yeah, people were just staring at the screen, wondering what the point of it all was. Right now, Disney has a lot of work to do if they want to earn back people's trust. They need to start by leaving certain classics alone and putting way more thought into casting. Because while Rachel Zegler isn't the only one to blame for the failure, she's definitely not walking away clean. And to make it worse, people are now calling on Disney to take action against her for all the negative attention she's brought to both the movie and the company. It doesn't get more serious than that. But what do you think? Are people being too harsh on Rachel Zegler, or should Disney be held responsible for this flop? And what about Gal Gadot? Does she play any role in all this backlash? Or is Rachel just trying to blame someone else for her own mistakes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more celebrity stories like this.